Welcome to Fontaine International's rebuild procedures for 3000 series fifth wheels. In the next few minutes, you'll see how easy it is to rebuild a 3000 series top plate in just a few simple steps using no special tools. You'll see that Fontaine fifth wheels are designed for a quick and easy rebuild to save maintenance time and money. Now let's get started. First, remove the top plate, degrease the underside, and place it in a work stand or on a steady, safe work surface. Make sure the lock is in the closed position with the handle retracted. Remember to exercise extreme caution. Follow all stated and customary safety procedures and be sure to wear safety glasses. You will need a genuine Fontaine repair kit, part number KIT RPR 3000L, to perform these procedures. Make sure to use all the new parts provided in the kit and discard all of the old parts. You may also need repair kit part number KIT RING 3000. Over time, friction from the kingpin causes the wear ring to deteriorate. When the width of the wear ring, measured at the top of the ring from front to back, is less than 1.63 inches, it's time to replace it. Using an 8mm hex tool, remove the wear ring from the top of the fifth wheel. Install the new wear ring and tighten the fasteners to 38 foot-pounds of torque. Remember to use all of the parts in the kit and discard all of the old parts. Now you're ready to disassemble the internal parts. First, loosen the jam nut and turn the adjustment rod counterclockwise until it is even with the rod guide. This eliminates interference when removing the internal parts. Now remove the jaw spring and the mainsprings that are attached to the pull handle. Remove the larger outer spring first, then the smaller inner spring. Remove the 16mm bolt and lock nut that secures the pull handle to the operating handle. Now remove the pull handle and inspect it for straightness. Remove the pivot pin clip from the pivot pin, which secures the operating handle to the locking wedge. Move the operating handle to the open position so that you can easily separate the operating handle from the wedge pivot pin. Now remove the wedge pivot pin. Remove the clip from the jaw pivot pin and position the fifth wheel so you can remove the pivot pin from the top of the fifth wheel. Then remove the rotating locking jaw. Now inspect the adjustment rod for any damage. Also inspect all moving parts that will be reused for excessive wear or damage, including the operating handle and pull handle. Before rebuilding the assembly, check to make sure that there are no cracks in the cross members or other components. Also, check the bracket pin holes to ensure they are not worn over size. Pins should fit snugly. Now it's time to reassemble your fifth wheel with the new parts from the kit. Apply a moderate amount of grease to the rotating locking jaw. Insert the rotating jaw into the throat of the wheel so that the hole in the cover plate lines up with the hole in the rotating jaw. Grease the pivot pin and position the fifth wheel so you can insert the pivot pin through the top plate and into the rotating jaw. Make sure the notched portion of the pivot pin is inserted into the fifth wheel first. Secure the pivot pin in place with the new pivot pin clip. Apply a light coat of grease to the new pivot pin. Then insert it into the locking wedge. Now apply grease to the wedge and insert it into the housing behind the rotating locking jaw. Slide the locking wedge to the outside of the fifth wheel. Insert the end of the operating handle into the slot at the bottom of the fifth wheel and over the locking wedge pivot pin. Now move the operating handle to the center or closed position of the fifth wheel. This slides the locking wedge behind the locking jaw. Attach the operating handle to the locking wedge using a pivot pin clip to secure the connection. After applying a light coat of grease to the pivot points, insert the pull handle into the top plate. Insert a new 16mm hex bolt through the pull handle first and then through the operating handle. Do not over-tighten the lock nut. After making sure the fifth wheel is completely closed, attach the jaw spring to the rotating locking jaw and spring clip. Now install the main springs to the pull handle. First, attach the inner spring to the spring clip, then attach the outer spring. To adjust the lock, open the fifth wheel and insert a 2-inch kingpin into the throat. Now turn the adjustment rod clockwise until it contacts the end of the wedge. Then turn it 3 additional revolutions. This assures the recommended 0.525 millimeters or 0.02 inches running clearance. Now tighten the adjustment rod jam nut. Open and close the fifth wheel several times around the 2-inch kingpin to ensure smooth operation without any interference. Completely reassembled, your fifth wheel is now ready to be returned to service. This is the perfect time to inspect the greaseless bracket liners. Visually inspect the liners and replace them if they are broken or show excessive wear. The minimum thickness for this liner is 3.18 millimeters or 1/8 of an inch. You have now completed Fontaine's rebuild procedure, and your fifth wheel is ready to give you years of reliable performance. Follow the recommended 6 months, 50,000 kilometers, 30,000 miles preventive maintenance schedule for trailer kingpin wear and for the fifth wheel locking jaw. This will assure maximum product life for your Fontaine 3000 series fifth wheel.